Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Crystal Lake, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday. That's good news. Friday, but the thing that I'm like kind of somewhat obsessed about is that it's 11/11/2022. So 11/11/22. Those are some lucky numbers, right? I just like it when there's like some sort of math problem that you can make with the dates. And today is one of those days. 11/11/22. It's awesome. It reminds me of the special codes in Spaceballs. Anyone remember that? That's a code to the luggage. But yeah, I'm just in a good mood. I'm excited today. I think it's just because I just had a bunch of candy and now I've got a coffee. I also just ate lunch and took a shower, so I'm feeling good today. I'm happy to see you guys. Before we get too far into it, let's say hi to everyone listening on the podcast on the audio only version. Hope you guys are having a good run. Man, it got cold here in Crystal Lake in the Midwest. I ran yesterday in shorts and a t-shirt. Today, I ran in t-shirt, a jacket, thin gloves, and long pants, and then a hat. I didn't go with the winter hat. I didn't need it. I went with the regular hat, but my hands were chilly, so I feel like I could have gone with medium gloves today. Amazing what a difference a day makes. So hopefully, if you're out there running and listening to this, hopefully your hands are nice and toasty. And everyone watching this on YouTube later after the fact, maybe it's probably Saturday morning because hopefully you had fun Friday night. Maybe you're catching this on Saturday morning. Maybe you just are about to go out for your run or you just came back from your run. And in that case, hope you had a good run or welcome back. All right, let's see who we got in the chat. Runner Wills here. He says, hello, everyone. Hope you're all having a great day. Mike, love all the New York City Marathon recaps. It was really a fun weekend. Much love to you and the co-famsy. Yeah, it was good to see you, Will. I saw Will a bunch of times over the weekend. It was really good. It's always good to catch up. And so the Runner's Weekend video, finally I finished it. It's really long. It's like 28 minutes long. I tried to make it really punchy and condensed, but there's just so much that happened over the New York City Marathon weekend that I felt like it just got a little bit long. Hopefully you guys are liking it. Yeah, it was a very fun video to make. And I just keep watching it over and over. I know that's kind of like, it's kind of like silly to like watch, like, there's like an old thing where like they make like musical artists will make fun of each other because like when they listen to each other their own music, it's silly, right? But like I don't really rewatch a lot of my stuff, but I was rewatching this a bunch of times mainly because I saw there's so many of my friends in the video, and I was just excited by that. So it's just kind of like good to kind of re-see them again. So that was certainly a lot of fun. Stevie76 says from that video he's discovered Matt Choi. He's hilarious. I really like Matt. I've been watching him and following him on TikTok for a long time. Here's the thing. A while back, I interviewed Matt Choi, but I had some major I don't even think I ever told Matt about this. I interviewed him and then like the video never came out and he never said anything about it, but he's so busy. I'm sure he didn't even notice. But I interviewed him and it was a really good interview. Good enough that I didn't want to like try and refilm it. Despite because of the technical difficulties. But yeah, so like I've been trying to find a way to introduce Matt Choi to you guys for a long time, and I'm glad that I finally like bumped into him. But I mean, like he is exactly his TikTok account, and like in real life, like I saw him in the corrals, and he was super bubbly, and like I think that like that moment in the corrals was like the only time the entire day where he had a shirt on. Because after that, I think he was just like shirtless the rest of the day. That's Matt. It was super good to see him though. Midlife Runner says, "Hey coach, just dropped a short video of my first 60 days of math training back in 2020. Do you have any plans to return to a strict math block? Thanks." I think that, and I saw that Frank says that the vast majority of clinical evidence militate against someone of Coe's abilities finding any benefit in a strict math block. And I think that for me, I probably won't. And the main reason for that being like, it happens. I'll go through a couple of weeks, but where I just do easy running. But a lot of the times I have to either test a shoe. And so like at least some, like just some strides or something, which I do think throwing strides in at the end of a run doesn't strictly violate Maffetone. I feel like Maffetone gets wishy-washy sometimes in terms of what strict actually is, quote unquote. But a lot of times, like I do need to test shoes, and also like I kind of have the bad habit of being a serial marathoner, and so like I'm kind of always in some level of race specific training which I also think technically aligns with Mapatone, but I think when by strict Mapatone, you mean kind of like an onboarding session. So I don't think I'll do that where I'm going like 60 days, 90 days with just easy running. But like, all my easy running is I tried to be under my Mapatone number. Sometimes I just kind of like, I'm just like, ugh, it's an easy day. I'm not going to worry about my watch. I'm just going to kind of like go easy by feel. And usually ends up being pretty much right. But so I'm kind of Mapatoning, but kind of not too. So that's kind of how I'm at it. But I'll definitely have to check out that video. All right. Let's see. Mace Windex has a question. After doing a 12-week training plan, if you don't have any races scheduled, is it better to go back to base building or do another training plan? I mean, if you don't have a race, I think it depends on like, why don't you have a race? I would try to find one. Or just to kind of like at least do some sort of time trial to just get another benchmark to see if the plan was successful, or if you liked it, if you're getting good results. Or like if you have a long time in between races, if it's going to be more than say like 4 weeks between your next race, then I would think about some sort of like, all right, peaks and valleys, right? If you want to be like something that in that peak performance book that I think, I don't know if it's Stallberg or, I don't think it's Stallberg. It's the other one. I always get their names and confused, and I forget which one wrote Steve Magnus, because they work together, and I feel like they sound the same when I listen to them on podcasts. And because they work so much together, I think that their writing styles blur to me in my mind. So I don't know which one wrote Peak Performance. But like one of the central premises of the book is if you want to be at your peak performance, that means by definition, there's times where you have not peak performance, where you have to let the body recover a little bit. So I think depending on what else is coming up, if you don't need to stay kind of at peak, come back down the mountain, and then you can build back up again. So that's kind of how I'd look at it. All right, Sean says, hey, everyone, got to run to a meeting, but wishing you all good runs this weekend. Also, love that Runners Weekend video, Kofuzi. Thanks so much. I mean, it's long. Some of you guys have been like getting into the comments, like just writing like, can't wait to watch this later over the weekend. I appreciate that a lot because I think that the initial like engagement, YouTube likes that. So I think that is really nice to do. Because otherwise, I think YouTube hates it when like it shows you something and you scroll past it. It notes that. And so if people just scroll past it saying like, oh, 30 minutes, I don't have time for that. If people do that enough, it just will stop showing it to people. So if people just click in there, even if you're not going to watch it now, click in there, write a little something, and then come back to it later. That'd be really appreciated. Thank you. All right. Maybe keep scrolling down a little bit. JC said, hello, everyone. Treadmill run this morning. Cold rain outside. Tomorrow's long run will be chilly, hopefully in a good way. Yeah. It was nice to have gloves on. I was like, oh, I remember last year at CIM I ran with gloves on. That'll be nice. But JC also said, enjoyed the New York City recap while on the run. Yeah, I mean, it's 30 minutes. So like if you got 30 minutes on the treadmill, boom, I got you covered for the weekend. All right. David Sachs also says, great recap video call. Well, thank you, David. Thanks so much. And Alan Shrimpton's back. He said, good morning. Not been live for ages. Well, it's good to see you again. Sue Ends here as well. Says, happy Friday, everyone. Good to see you, Sue. And Eliza said, hi, co-fam. Hope everyone's well. And loved the recap video. Thanks so much, guys. I mean, I knew you guys would appreciate it. Because you guys are like the core audience of people that come to the live stream. So I appreciate you guys. And I'm, to me, to hear you guys like liking it means like, all right, it like hit the right kind of like note, in terms of like getting that put together. So it's good validation for me. Awesome. Yeah, Stevie76 says he looks strangely super. I don't know what it is. I think this sweater is really comfy. So that must be what it is. But like, as soon as I sat down in here, I just got in. I was really tired coming down the stairs. And then as soon as I sat down, I was like, boom, just like instant good mood. So I don't know what, I'm just happy to be here. That's all. All right, let's go. Let's keep scrolling down. Oh man, I'm really far behind you guys. All right. Kyle Run says, hey everyone, I'm joining on mute while on a meeting. Love the New York City Marathon recap. Looking forward to watching Runners Weekend. Has anyone bought shoes from Relay? From Relay? There's a place called Relay where you can buy shoes? I've never heard of that. Looking at Endorphin Pros for $89. That's interesting. That's a really good price for the Endorphin Pro 1. The Endorphin Pro Run 1, not my favorite marathon shoe. Really fun to work out in, though. But for $89, could be a solid pickup. Interesting. Lou Klein says, as far as the weather goes, remnants of Nicole are in New England now, and it's raining hard. I wonder if that's why we're getting like a blast of cold air now, or maybe that's why we got a blast of warm air this week. Because I don't know. But hopefully, any of you guys that were in the path are doing okay. I was just watching the news while I was eating lunch. It looks like parts of Florida got hit pretty hard. So hopefully, you guys are doing all right down there. Kyle Run says they sell overstocked and refurbished stuff. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, Martha had something here. She said, "Cool, your race recaps are fabulous. I do save them for the treadmill like a treasure." Well, I appreciate that, and thanks for watching that on the treadmill. I think that's a great way to enjoy it. So I appreciate that you're doing that. Thank you. And then Frank says the Runners Weekend vids are always a good way to get the vicarious good feels. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you guys are appreciating them. And it says, I was halfway through the New York video when I got the notification that live stream was starting. So I'm finishing the end of week paperwork just now, and the joys of self-employment. Oh yeah, let me tell you, I've been trying to get all these New York videos out, and so I've just been putting off a lot of stuff, not self-employment stuff, but I still haven't. I tried to schedule an appointment to go see a doctor, but I need to find a new doctor now that we moved, and so I'm trying to get that done. I've got a bunch of stuff for Relay, the Patreon group that I'm a member of. So I was able to do a New York City Marathon recap with Lindsey Hein. And so that one got put out today. And so it's just a bunch of stuff to kind of wrap up. And then I'm working with some other people, Peter Bromka and Matt Chittum, to do a CIM kind of race breakdown, since that's coming up in a few weeks. So it's been a lot of stuff, and I just feel I need to catch up on stuff. I feel like end of week paperwork in some ways sounds kind of nice, but maybe I'm just being weird now. All right. Adam says the Skechers Speed Freaks are $49 at CR Trading Post. How stiff and how rockered? I don't think I ever ran at the Speed Freaks. I can't even imagine what that is in my mind. I'm trying to think about it. I don't know. Luke Klein says, I just finished watching Amritpal Gatora's vid. I didn't know he had made one. I saw him. I ran into him 3 or 4 times over the weekend. It was pretty cool. And I'd never met him before this weekend. But I've been following him on YouTube since before he was breaking 3 hours. I remember he broke 3 hours a little bit after he started making YouTube videos. So I've been watching him since then. And yeah, it's cool to see where he's taking his, not only just running, but running in terms of making it a career. Because I know he's going to be working at Tracksmith in their London location, since London, they're trying to make I don't know if it's open yet or if they're opening, but they're putting in a London retail space. And they're really pouring in a lot of money to it because, Matt Taylor, the founder of Tracksmith, is going to move his entire family over there because he wants to live there and really understand the local community, the run space, and also make sure that the retail space is operating correctly. So it's cool. It's cool. It was really cool to meet him and just be able to talk to him. Yeah, I saw him a couple of times, so that was really nice. Moonwalker says, I love the ending of the recap video with a different POV as I approach the finish line. Yeah, so I think that was Tommy Run's mom that sent that in the after the video part, the yo, what's going on part. I had a part of the video that I think it was Tommy Run's mom that sent me a video of me at the finish line from the grandstands. Because if I remember, because I know she was talking about how she was in the grandstands. And I couldn't remember who sent me this video. I think it was Tommy's mom. I have one other idea of who it might be, but I'm not positive. But also, Ali Feller, who was a race announcer, Ali Feller of Ali on the Run Show, who was the finish line announcer, who was nice enough to be like, Kofuzi's finishing the race in style because I did like a little pirouette. She apparently had her phone out and was like snapping away, and so she messaged me these pictures that she had taken too. And so I had multiple angles of me finishing, and then someone sent me like the clip. Like there's the race camera that shows people as they cross the line too. So like I have three angles of the finish plus my own. So if there's a fourth camera, it's pretty wild. I have more footage of me finishing than probably the vast majority of racers on that day. It's really, really funny. Stevie76 says, any advice chaperoning my daughter's first date? I'm having a father of the bride moment. Dude, I wouldn't even know. I mean, you're ahead of me on that, Stevie. I wouldn't even know what to do. That my daughter has not had a date. I didn't like how old's the daughter though? Because I feel like, do kids go on dates anymore? Like young kids? I feel like young kids go on like hangouts. You know, they don't call it like a double date or whatever. It'll be like a group of kids. I thought that's how it went. I can't remember if it was like a niece or someone that was explaining it to me, and it made me feel really old. Not because of the social practice, because I feel like that's kind of what happens. And they're just calling it like something different now. But like the way that there was I think it was one of my nieces. This young person was like explaining it to me was like, okay, so we don't go on like dates. We're not courting, we go out and we'll just be like hanging out, and then like there'll be a group and then like some people kind of, pair off kind of thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. It's kind of like casual. I'm trying to be like cool about it, but I was not. But I don't have any advice. Maybe someone else here has some advice on that. All right, what's going on, Remy? Remy's here. He says, first time in a long time. Hope all are doing well. Man, it's good to see you, Remy. How are you? Martha wants to know, how's the shoulder? Yeah, tell me about it. All right, Dave says, for Kofuzi Run Club, which had the better crowd, New York City or Chicago? The crowds at New York are just so much bigger, right? Like, so there's a big, people have been asking me a lot, like, what's the better race, New York or Chicago? And I'm just like, easy, Chicago. And I think the big difference has nothing to do with the race. It has to do with my relationship to the races. So like Chicago's like my hometown race. I've run it 5 times now. Like I know people here, you know what I mean? So like when for New York, I'll just get in the crowd riled up. People were excited to cheer for other racers, and my name on the bib. So people were like reading it out and stuff. So like not on the bib, on my singlet. And so, so like, I felt welcomed as if I were family in New York, which was amazing. In Chicago, I am family. You know what I mean? So like that's why I feel like New York's crowds were bigger, and if you don't have a connection to either city, you're probably gonna like New York more. But like for me, like running in Chicago for so long, and kind of like coming up in the running scene in Chicago, that's always going to have a really, really special place for me. I know the course really well. I know the neighborhoods, a lot of them really well. Not all of them, but some of them. And so like that for me is always going to put Chicago on top. But in terms of like crowd, like the density of crowds for the amount of the race, there was like 1 or 2 quiet spots the entire race. I mean, the bridges is one thing, but like otherwise, there's very few places where it wasn't like just like several people deep. And Talia says, hey, Co and everyone, just watched the Runners Weekend video, and I'm the volunteer at the end of the video. Super cool to see you in action. And Talia, yeah, I remember you calling out, and I was like, do you remember I was waving? It was good to see you. You know what? I feel like everyone was so energetic and happy at the finish line. Not just the people that had run, but all the volunteers and everything. So it was super cool. So thank you for volunteering and thank you for being there. And I'm glad that you're here now. That's so cool. Mark Peterson says, a little late today. Great Runners Weekend video, Co. Yeah, Mark, you should have come out, man. It would have been good to see you again. But I had a lot of fun. All right, Musketeer says, Mike, suggest me a neutral running shoe priced at $150 or below. It's hard because I don't always know prices. They could do some daily easy effort plus some fast pace efforts and maybe races also. I usually run between 5K and 5K to 15K, Hoka, Nike, Adidas. Some daily easy effort plus some fast pace efforts. What does the Endorphin Speed 3 cost? I think that's like 160, right? I think that the Nova Blast is also at one. Is that at 160 or is that 140? Those would be some good options. I feel like the Rebel 3, that I think is under 150. So that would be a good option that I would use. The Rebel 3 is what I wore as I was watching the USATF 5K. So I'm running for like 50 meters at a time, maybe 25 meters at a time, um, at pro 5K pace in the Rebel 3, and I didn't feel like I needed more. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't pick it to race like for my 5K PR. I picked the Takumi Sen, but I wouldn't want to run every day in that. But the Rebel 3, I've taken it on a 20-mile easy run, and it works great. So that would be a good one too. I would also pick the Nova Blast 3. I watched the Brooklyn Half Marathon and chased Noah Droddy around the course in that shoe. It also really works, but I'm not sure price-wise where it's at. That's the only thing. So those would be two good ones. Also the Endorphin Speed 3, so number 3. But I don't know what the price is on that one either. Moonwalker wants to know, how big was the New York Expo compared to Chicago? Twice as big? It felt like it. It really did. I don't know about twice as big because I feel like just a Chicago Marathon spent much more space on like getting the bibs and like getting you to your because like Chicago has like a double line system where like you first go to one line and then tell you what other line to go to actually get your bib, and then you got to go to somewhere else entirely to get your shirt. I feel like New York was much more compact and efficient in that, and then the rest of it was space. So like square footage wise, it's probably not that different. But the other thing is in Chicago, and I didn't wander around the Javits Center that much. I was just so exhausted by that point in the day. Drew and I originally had plans to like walk through the expo once and then go back and actually film more of the New Balance stuff, since New Balance brought us there. But I just got so tired at the end. I was like, Drew, I just got to go. He's like, good idea. I don't want to go back through there. So I didn't explore everywhere, but I didn't see like in New York a bunch of different booths and tents for the different charity runner groups, which in Chicago, there's an entire row where all the different charity groups are there. So that way they can connect with the people that are charity runners and answer any questions, but also potentially talk to new people that might want to run for a charity next year kind of thing. So I think that there was just more stuff to do at the New York one. It was so big. I was like amazed by how much stuff that was there. It was crazy, really crazy. All right. Lou Klein says, the Bandit stuff look great. Their site is mad cool. Yeah, I was just actually listening to, on my run today, I believe in the Run podcast, where they interviewed Tim West. Is that his name? The founder. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really good. And I knew Tom, I didn't see like, the video of it because I just listened to it. I only watch like when it shows up as clips maybe sometimes on like Instagram, but I never watch the drop. I only listen to it on the run. And I know Thomas must have been like super stoked to talk to him once he started mentioning skateboarding, because Thomas seems to like perk up anytime someone wants to talk about like skate style or skate culture. It's really funny. But yeah, the Bandit stuff's good. You know what? Let me tell you a funny story. So my sister calls me Saturday, the day before the race. And she's like, we're just chatting, and she's got like her son my nephew, her son's got like lacrosse tournaments like all day. I think he plays like lacrosse competitively year round. I think it's like the most Connecticut thing that I've ever heard. But like, yeah, he plays like competitive. He's like 9 years old. Oh boy. Oh, did I lose the camera already? All right. Right in the middle of this story. All right, let me switch it to this guy. All right. So here we go. So my sister calls me. She's in the car, and she's like, "Hey, do you ever do any work with Bandit?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm familiar. I got interviewed by them a little while ago before Chicago, and like I'm familiar with kind of like what they do, but I'm not like a member of the club. I'm not like I'm not part of that like it's not a subscription, but whatever, like the paid portion of the community." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, because I know this guy who works over there. I used to work with his wife. back a couple jobs ago, and she's moved on a couple times and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, well, who is it? And she goes, David Hashem. And I'm like, David Hashem, David Hashem. I know Tim Rossi. I know, I'm like, David Hashem. She's like, guy with the mustache. I'm like, oh, you mean D Hash? Because I didn't know his actual name. I only knew him by his Instagram handle. And we had hung out a couple times. I've seen him on courses all over the place. And we hung out right at the 3 Run 2 after party in Chicago. But I only knew him by like his Instagram handle. So I'm like, yeah, I only know him as D Hash. And she started just giggling, laughing. So then I messaged D Hash about it and told him like the story, like the Small World story. And then I saw him at the Bandit after party after the marathon. And he was like, he comes up to me. He's like, oh my goodness, I used to work with your sister too. We love her. We used to work with her years and years ago, and we miss her and all that stuff. So just amazing how like it's just a really small world. And I feel like this is the first time that like my sister's like professional life and like my like weird YouTube-y life has finally like collided, which if I were to guess, it would have been through like Kara Goucher somehow, since my sister worked at NBC Sports. But my sister says she never actually met Kara Goucher. So D Hash was the connection at Bandit. So yeah, it's pretty, their stuff is good. I ended up spending about $170 at the shop because like I just couldn't, I was like, this stuff is great. I really like it. So it was really cool. All right. Avalon Journey says he just hit 98 miles on his Noble Blaster and he's giving it a thumbs up. Awesome. Really cool. Lou Boy says, every time I see the Elliott runners in your vids, I'm like, and he says, I don't know, it's a smile. It's a kind of a smiley emoji. Can't wait to see reviews on those. All right. So progress. Someone from Tracksmith was like, hey, let me know your shoe size and give me a good address for you. So I've submitted that information to them. So hopefully I'll be getting it soon. And I've been told I'll get access to Brant. I don't know if he's the PLM for it or the designer. I think he's the designer for it. So hopefully I'll get access to him. I said, let's schedule something after I get a chance to put some miles in it and so I can give you some thoughts too. So I'm really excited. It's 2 layers of Pebax foam. And I think they're different levels of squishiness. There's like the mids. I keep looking at the camera, but I forgot that you're on the MacBook now. So like there's the midsole, which is thick. And that's a little bit more dense. But then the insole is like a mega insole. Like if you've ever gotten like street casual shoes, like streetwear, and they like the shoe itself is really uncomfortable, but they put in like a really nice, super thick insole. It's kind of like that concept in the shoe. And I'm just really curious to see how that's going to work together. So they keep saying that it's supposed to mimic the idea of suddenly finding yourself on pine needle covered trails in the Northeast. And I'm like, that's a very specific sensation. But I actually have pine needle covered trails available to me. I was actually on some today. Took the Tectonics out on those. So I feel like I have some good spots where I can actually do some filming on that and maybe can trick some people into thinking maybe I'm in the New England area. Although, actually, I was going to say, like normally I go to my sister's house in Connecticut for over the New Year, but this year they're all coming here, so I won't have that. So I guess I'll just have to do what I can do. But yeah, the Elliott Runner, I'm super excited for it. I'm just like, I don't know. I think I could tell you this. There will be more colorways coming out than just this first one, and some of the ones that they've told me about, I'm very excited about. And I've been told that their foams, their Pebax, they can color them. So there'll be some different colors coming out too. So hopefully like the shoe is as exciting as it sounds. Al H says, got to catch your finish line on the New York City Marathon stream. Okay. You look so full of joy. It inspired me to run a marathon like that. Congrats again. Thanks so much. Al, are you the one that sent me that? I forget who sent it to me, but someone like screen recorded it and sent it to me. But that was so fun to see. But yeah, it was a lot. I was having a little bit too much fun. I was running with Laura Green at the end. I found her like after I dropped off Aaron at the medical tent. I started just running, and then all of a sudden I see Laura right there, and so I'm running with her. But then like also like I'm just seeing people all over the place. So I felt like I was trying to run with her, but I was just like bouncing all over, like seeing people that I knew. and I was just so excited. Like every time I saw someone I knew, I was like, "What are the odds? There's 50,000 people on the course and millions of people out today. Like, how did I find you?" It was just always boggled my mind. And so after we finish, I forget who she was telling it to, but she's like, "Yeah, here I am dying, and I'm running next to Kofuzi, and he's like twinkle toes, just like dancing across back and forth across the course, and it's super frustrating." So, but it was, I mean, I mean, she meant it in a very funny way, but it was a lot. I had a lot of fun at the finish line. Man, there's so many people there. It was good, really, really good. Louis says, I was watching the live stream of the marathon, saw someone falling right at the end, and all of a sudden I see a guy jumping and celebrating. Who was that guy? It was Yuko Fuzi. People have been asking me, like, was that guy okay? He had, like, no shirt on, I think, and he was, like, crawling across the finish line. I didn't see him at all. I didn't even notice he was there. And someone else had, like, mentioned it in a comment because I posted that finish line video clip as a story or something. And I was like, I don't even know who you're talking about. I had to watch it 4 or 5 times before I figured out who they were talking about. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Leona says, "Awesome race cat vid, Mike. Your 10-minute video is doing fantastic. Did a search on New York City Marathon, and it comes up at the top. Awesome. Thank you so much. It was good to see you again, Leona. Man, it was just such a fun, wild weekend. And yeah, that the race video itself, the 10-minute one, is doing really well. I'm very surprised and very pleased with how it did. And you know what? The one thing is, like, have you guys watched Eric Floberg's? I haven't seen the whole thing, but I know Eric found Casey at some point during the race, and I was like, oh, that was like the one other person that I was hoping to find. Well, I mentioned I was listening to the drop, and like Megan Murray was like, I want to find Ashton Kutcher on the course. I wanted to find Casey, but I thought that I would have no chance of finding him because I was like, dude, have you seen some of his long runs? Like he had a 20-mile long run at like 6:30 pace, like a month ago or something like that, or maybe a little longer than that. And I was like, that's bonkers. Makes no sense. There's no way that I'm going to be anywhere near him because he'll start in the famous people corral, which is before like wave 1 corral A, you know? But it turned out maybe I passed him. I don't know. I guess I should check the finishing times, not the finishing like chip time, but the time. But yeah. I'm very excited. But I think though, like this might be the algorithm working, Leona, because like Casey's video has like had like a million views on us in a day. So like I'm clearly not like the top. So I think Casey Neistat's video is and it's really good. I haven't finished his yet, but it was really good. But I didn't know he was running with Neve. Neve also is someone that I would really love to be able to run with. He's one of those people that's like, if you could run with one person, who would it be? Because I love Catfish, the show. I watched it. I mean, that's like a guilty pleasure show of mine. I love that show, and he's wearing his Pegasus during a lot of the episodes. But yeah, I didn't know he dropped out. I didn't know he was running, and then I also didn't know he dropped out of the race, but apparently he did. All right. Dave says, can you briefly explain the different routes and colors for the corrals? Is there a favored one? I was in green. The green corral, so they need 3 races. Apparently London's the same way. There's just so many people at the start that they can't have everyone start the same route. So you have to kind of like go a couple of different ways, and then it all ends up merging at a different point, just because by then like the crowds disperse, like the packs disperse a little bit, and it's more manageable, so it's not clogging up a road. And so green corral is the lower level of Verrazano Bridge. That's where I was, and then blue and orange are on top. I think blue is on like one side of the bridge, and like, you know, kind of like the inbound and outbound sides, you know, and then I forget which color's on the other. And then those two also split off when they get off the bridge too. When they get off the bridge, they split off, and then all 3 meet and converge at another spot. I think people generally don't like green because they think they're going to get peed on, which was not an issue at all, even on a hot day. But because I don't think that happens anymore. I mean, there's still some peeing, but it's not like people on the green level are getting drenched in it. But yeah, I think people like the green. I don't know how I got assigned to what, because like Thomas and Jarrett and Robbie, they were all in orange corral. I think Tommy Runs was in blue. I want to say Drew was in blue. I don't know. I feel like I was in green. I think Lindsey Hein was in green. So I'm not sure how it gets decided, how that works. All right. Oh man, I've been rambling along so much. I'm gonna scroll down and catch you guys. JC says, with colder weather, I plan on wearing my non-elite long sleeve tomorrow. Great shirt. Will they be on sale again anytime soon? I don't think so. I haven't talked to florists about it, and with the lead times required for something like that to be ready for like holiday season, for example, I feel like we would have had to have had that conversation already. So I don't know if we'll have another one. I'm not sure. So I know some people have been requesting for like the hoodie, to have one on the hoodie, so that way there's a t-shirt, a long sleeve, and then a hoodie. That would make a lot of sense to me, but we'll have to kind of like, I'll have to circle back with Flores. He just sent me a big couple of packages. I don't know. I got a bunch of packages sent to the old condo that I got to go get. My Polar Ignite 3 is over there. I think it was Rabbit that keeps sending me stuff to the old address. So there's a bunch of Rabbit stuff over there too. I think yeah. There's a box at the top of the stairs. I think that's Path Project stuff. But I haven't needed cold stuff until like today. So we'll see some more Path stuff, but nothing. I don't think that there's anything planned for non-elite right away. Jason Doll says, I imagine it would be quite the odds to be peed on. Almost Powerball odds high. So I think like the thing, Jason, is that like people were saying like so many people are peeing on the bridge, and the bridge has, when it rains, it has like water management systems, and then it drips down like along the sides. But like if it's windy, then it blows, in on you, or maybe like it drips through cracks in the bridge or whatever. I think that's kind of the idea. But I think I mentioned it yesterday. I think it was yesterday, the day before. There's announcements in multiple languages repeated throughout the day that say like you cannot pee on the bridge, and if you do, you'll be disqualified. Plus, there's bathrooms in the corrals. Like you can go to the corral early, and that has the shortest bathroom line of pretty much any of the bathrooms that I use all day. Well, I was in the New Balance tent. You guys saw that. That had zero line. It was great. It was so good. It was so good. Like on a warm, it was warm. So like people were just like chilling in like the normal area too, not in like the special tents. But I feel like if it was a cold and wet day, oh man, like having that tented area would have been just so nice. I felt bad because like apparently like there's free Dunkin' Donut hats. They make 20,000 of them, but when they run out, they run out. And a lot of times people like collect those. But like when we got to the tent, there was like a table with a stack of them on there. There's Dunkin' Donuts colored beanie. It's got little like frillies at the top too, and it says New York City Marathon on it. No one wanted it because it was just so hot. Jody says, when I did New York City, I was lucky to start right near the front of the top level, and I can confirm filthy animals do pee on the start line. One guy peed on people's clothing dumped on the side of the start area. Yeah, some people are just nasty. Like I've seen people that like bring like an empty Gatorade bottle and like will stand just like in the middle of the corral, like at Chicago, and just start peeing. And I'm like, there's a lot of people around you. At least go to the side if you're gonna be that way. You know what I mean? But like he's just like standing shoulder to shoulder with people, like pants down and like using the Gatorade bottle. I'm like, that's another level. And then the worst thing was, he just put it down, and I was like, oh, that's filthy. That's gross. Yeah. Patrick Ross says, I wore the non-elite hat the whole Chicago Marathon. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm trying to think. If I wore the non-elite hat during a marathon, I think I've worn it for a lot of races. I'm not sure if I worn it for a marathon, though. I'll have to go back and look. I don't think that I have ever. Oh, you beat me to it, Patrick. TV76 says, P has a cooling effect. I feel like on most years, you don't need that. You want to stay warm on most years. So maybe it has the Dumb and Dumber like warming effect instead. I don't know. All right, Leona says, all right, New York City Marathon 2022 YouTube search results. Casey's comes up second, and yours are fourth and fifth. Well, I mean, like, I hope I doubt that he's gonna sit around and watch other people's videos, but I mean, if he does, then it's a good chance maybe he'll watch that one. I still find it bizarre that DC Rainmaker went on a run with Casey Neistat, and there was like no pictures of it, except for one like super blurry one. It boggles my mind. Stevie76 says there are tons of people stopping on the bridge to take pictures. There's a lot of that. Yeah. There was, but on that day, this weekend, there was a lot of people stopping, like a lot. I mean, people were struggling. Every bridge, there was like a lane of people that were just like kind of like, I give up. I mean, they would keep running again after that, but like they were struggling. I definitely, because it was always really quiet on the bridges, so I always try to be like, all right, guys, we're doing great. You're looking strong. I tried to cheer everyone up. JC wants to know, if you get disqualified for peeing, would that be called a PDQ? I think you can call it that. I tweeted out my the trailer, like the intro portion to the New York City recap video. Speaking of DQs, the trailer to the New York City recap video, and I put it on Twitter as like, what's it like to run the New York City Marathon as a running influencer? And someone who's like in charge of digital media for New York Roadrunners liked it. So I was looking at who liked it right away. And I'm like, this is either going to be good or this is going to be bad. Because he's either going to see that and be like, oh, this is awesome. Or he's going to see it and be like, wait a minute, who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is. Why does he have a selfie stick on the course? So I'm a little bit worried about that. But we'll see. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens. That's fine. Al H says there should be a Dunkin' Donuts non-elite collab. That'd be great. But I mean, Dunkin' Donuts doesn't even like sponsor any athletes. So like Heather McLean loves Dunkin' Donuts, has been trying to get them to sponsor her. Molly Seidel has been trying to get Dunkin' Donuts to sponsor her. You know what I mean? Like if Molly Seidel doesn't have enough juice, there's no way there's going to be a non-elite collab. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, Lou says usually the Dunkin' hats come in handy because it's cold. I know, that's what I was thinking that I might do. Or I was thinking I might tuck it into like in my waistband or something so I could have it, because I feel like I would love to have that later, like in the winter, like in a month from now, or I guess this week. But I was like, it's just gonna be too hot to even try to carry that. One of this says gross about peeing and things. Remember that Hollow Golf Club product? Oh, that's funny. Whoa, Leona says she was able to meet Tommy Rivs, and he signed her non-elite shirt. 2 inspiring people on one shirt. That's super cool. That's a rare product. That's nice. This is CMR. He says, hi from Dublin. Good to see you again. I looked at the wrong camera. This is the camera. I got to look at the right one. Good to see you again. How are you? Frank wants to know, the YouTube channel, does Total Running Productions actually run? I'm sure that they do. Either that or they're just running fans. Nothing that says that you have to be at some sort of level of runner to be a running fan. But I don't know. Dave says, is the Tokyo going to be the first marathon that you've run internationally? If not, where else have you raced? It'll be the first marathon that I run internationally, but it's not the first race that I do internationally. My European debut was in Malaga, Spain. So, no. That's my European debut. I've also run in, I think it's the Bahamas. I ran on a Disney cruise. So it was Disney Island. I think it's still, even though Disney owns the island, I still think we were technically in Bahamas. So I did a Disney 5K, in the Bahamas, and I did the, Meta Time Trials 5K in Malaga this year, and then Tokyo, I think. Trying to think where else. I think that's it. Yeah. So Tokyo will be it. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm gonna start talking to ASICS now. I'm gonna be like, all right, let's what can we plan? The thing that's gonna be tricky is a lot of whatever we try to do is going to depend on like what the like COVID situation is over there. Like what are the health regulations? What are we allowed to do? Plus, I just don't know. Like, we need to like talk to someone in Japan and be like, how hostile is the city going to be if we like round up like 50 people and run down the street? Is that going to be looked down upon? Is that going to get us in trouble? You know what I mean? I don't want to like go in there and be like, this is the way we do it in the US, so we're doing it here. So I want to be mindful of the local customs. But we got to start talking. I mean, ASICS people will know how to tell me about that. They'll know. So I'm just trying to fit in, do a Kofuzi Run Club Tokyo style, Mrs. CMR80 says, just had a Cosmopolitan. It is 7:40 p.m. You don't have to qualify it. She just had a Cosmopolitan and love watching the race recap video. Totally going to try for a charity spot in 2024 and doing Dublin again next year. All right, that's cool. I mean, I say do New York at least once. You know what I mean? I think, I haven't heard anything from anyone talking about next year or whatever, but I don't know that I need to necessarily run New York again next year, but I'll definitely be out there again next year. Because like, I just feel like, well, my parents are out there. Although this year they went on a cruise, a leaf-looking cruise up in Maine. So they were out of town. But I do think it's like something where I just want to be in the city and just be around there. And then I could do the 5 shakeout runs again and not have to worry about having to also run a marathon. But then also I just think that like I really want to do, I was talking about this with Lindsay Hine, is that like I want to do a day where it's just a long day, got to take a lot of meal breaks, but like film the elites all the way, like the first people to cross the finish line to like the last. I want to get out there for that night footage. I meant to do that this year, but like we got delayed getting dinner. I was getting hangry, and then I just didn't have any energy to go like get cameras and then walk all the way back to Central Park, and then so that's on me. I was lazy about it. I should have done better, but next year. Travis McCullough says, I'm running a hybrid marathon in December, half trail, half road. Do you have any shoe suggestions, or should I switch out after the trail first half? I think it depends on, how intense the trail part's going to be, right? So like if you want a shoe that could do both, I feel like there's a lot of good. I mean, I feel like a Speed Goat could do pretty good. It would certainly like suffer a little bit on the road side, but like depending on what your needs are for the trail, I think it could work out. Now, it might also be a time to look at a shoe like the Terra Kiger, something along those lines. I haven't run in that shoe since the 4 or the 5 or something like that. But that shoe always does a really good job of kind of being that hybrid shoe. Trying to think of what else. I know I'm just going to be forgetting a whole bunch that are good options. But yeah, those are the ones. Oh, like a shoe like the Zinal could be a good one, or like the Torrent. The Torrent, I feel like, has a little bit thicker lugs that I don't think are as good on the road. But those could be some options. If it's a light trail, then I would suggest just go with a road shoe, and that could be fine. But I think it would really depend on how trail it is. Like if you're anticipating like that the trail section is going to take you 3 hours, then I'd say switching out shoes might not be a bad idea. But if it's going to be a pretty easy trail and you're getting through a lot quicker, then maybe you don't even need to really even have a trail shoe. Maybe, I don't know. So it really just depends. Sean says, and this is big. Sean says, can we all agree Dunks is mediocre coffee at best? I don't know if we could all agree on that. I think I have a lot of history with it. My mom used to drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee all the time. She used to work a lot of night shifts. She was a nurse. And like Dunkin' Donuts was her coffee. And she drank it like a little bit of coffee and then like a lot of milk and sugar. That's changed over the years, but like that's how she used to drink it. And so like I just have a lot of memories of those Dunkin' Donut coffee cups and those colors. It's not my favorite taste, I'll say though. It's not what I prefer. I'm not buying the Dunkin' Donuts coffee K-cups. My in-laws buy it though, and it's pretty good. It's not terrible, but it's not what I buy at home. Affluent Journey says free coffee Tuesdays at Wawa this month. Ooh, That's good to know for all of those of you who are in a Wawa territory. All right. Carlos Griego says, what equipment would you recommend for someone just starting a YouTube channel? I would say that you don't necessarily even need to go out and buy anything specific. Like one of the videos that I made that did really well was when we were all in Falmouth. I just kind of like ran up to everyone that was there and was like, what are you shooting with? And like Tommy runs with a phone. Matt Choi has like, I think he's got like 700,000 followers on TikTok. He shoots with a GoPro now too, but like he started out and the majority of his stuff, at least on TikTok, is just with a phone. So like depending on what you're trying to do, the phone could be plenty. And I would say like start making videos. You don't have to necessarily publish them if you don't feel like you're ready to publish them yet, but start making videos first with the technology, that whatever it is that you got. Then you'll start feeling like, this isn't giving me exactly what I want. Maybe the phone's too close. Maybe the phone that you have is too shaky or whatever. Maybe you want lower angles and it's hard to do that with the phone. So you'll bump into the things that are limiting your kind of creativity, and then start solving those problems. Don't be like, here's my YouTube kit, like YouTube channel in a box. There's no such thing, So I would say start making videos first. Start just filming it, and your run tomorrow. Just start filming it. Do what you want to do, or whatever you're thinking of doing, and then see where your needs are, and then you can start thinking about like, all right, here's like my wish list. But I would say, don't wait for XYZ to happen first before you start making videos. Stevie 06 says, it takes elite skills not to hit anyone with a selfie sticks running full speed and doing a pirouette. Well, I wasn't running full speed. I was struggling at the end of that race. It was hot. So I was moving, but I also like, I check whenever I know I'm going to swing that stick around. I always kind of look around. So I did do a check to make sure that there was no one like behind me. And like, I also did pick up the pace. So like, unless someone also picked up when it's the finish line, so someone might have, but like, unless someone was really going to be overtaking me hard, they weren't going to be in my way. So I just vision, eyes up kind of thing. But for New York Marathon, my eyes were up the whole time, and my head was on a swivel because like I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss someone or miss something that was amazing on the side. I've seen a lot more like the fat heads, the big cutouts of have people's faces on it. I'm a huge fan of that. And there were a couple of people that had printed out their cats. And so I saw a lot of different cat faces throughout the race. There was 2 that I saw multiple times. You know what I didn't see though? Giant poop emoji. I was hoping for another giant poop emoji. And imagine if it was like the same giant poop emoji. I mean, like, it's the traveling poop. That would have been great. But I didn't see it. Let me know if anyone else saw it, but I didn't see it. Jody says, and we'll end with this one. Will you and the A16 be doing a shakeout run for Tokyo? I hope so. So I know Ashley Mateo is going. I'm going. Thomas and Megan are going. I don't know if anyone else from the Believe in Run team are going. I believe Thomas and Megan are going. That's my understanding. And then I met a whole bunch of other journalists at the Cherry Blossom 10 miler. They all know Ashley. I didn't know any of them though. I wasn't familiar with their work. But I think a lot of them are going. So I'm not sure. I hope so. If nothing else, I'll be like, I'll be telling them like, you got like Thomas and me here, and Megan, like Ashley as well. Like we should definitely do something, because I feel like if nothing else, like maybe I know there'll be Americans that are there that will want to see us. I don't know how many of the Japanese will, but I did make friends with a Japanese TikToker in Eugene, and he has like 1 million followers on TikTok. I forget his name, but I'll have to go back and look at my video from it. But like, what was really funny is I think one of the differences in the running culture over there, I'll end with this story, is that like, there's definitely a little bit more of a hierarchy. It's an Asian culture. So like Asians love hierarchical system, even in our social engagements. But like, so I get introduced to him as like a big YouTuber in the US. Like he gets introduced to me as like a big TikToker in Japan. And after the 5K, I'm like, how did you do? He goes, I did okay. I came in third or fourth or something like that. He's like, it wasn't a PB, but it was pretty close. So I feel good about it, And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And he's like, how did you do? And I'm like, oh, I did great. 1905. And he goes, oh. And I think he wanted to say like, are you okay? And he had to do it through a translator because he didn't speak English. So I just think that I really disappointed him, that I'm like somehow I'm like a big YouTuber in the US, but not fast. So, so it'll be interesting to see like the way that the Japanese kind of respond to Kofuzi and Thomas and Megan. I think they'll like Megan. I don't know how much they'll like the rest of us. So we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I had a blast here, guys. Hopefully you guys did too. I don't know what videos are going to come next. It might be the Fresh Foam More version 4. That one I finished. I got to 100 miles before marathon weekend, but I haven't filmed that video yet. But we'll have another video soon. I might take a little bit of a break, a little breather before CIM. But no matter when the next video comes out, I'll see you guys Monday, same time as today, 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll do a Monday mukbang, try some new stuff. And yeah, over the weekend, have good long runs out there and be safe, everybody. Thanks.